One evening, after playing outside with my friends until the sun started to set, I began walking home alone. The street looked calm and peaceful, but the colors in the sky orange, pink, and purple made everything feel kind of magical and strange at the same time. Usually I like this time of day, but this time something felt different, like a quiet secret was hiding just around the corner. As I walked down the sidewalk, I suddenly heard a soft whisper. It was so faint I almost thought I imagined it. The whisper sounded like someone calling my name, but when I looked all around, the street was empty. Only the tall trees by the sidewalks stood still, their long shadows stretching across the ground as the sun disappeared behind the houses. Even though I felt a little scared, I told myself it was just the wind playing tricks. But then, right at the edge of the street, I noticed something I'd never seen before: a narrow path leading from the sidewalk into the big, dark forest next to my neighborhood. The path looked old and covered with leaves, like it hadn't been used for a long time. I knew I should probably just keep walking home, but my feet moved on their own, taking me closer to the forest. The air smelled different here, damp and earthy, with a hint of something strange I couldn't name. The trees loomed tall and thick above me, making the path look like a dark tunnel I wasn't sure I wanted to enter. As I walked deeper into the forest, the shadows grew thicker, and the sounds around me changed. I heard twigs snapping under my feet and leaves rustling as if something was moving nearby. And then the whispering started again, this time louder, almost like quiet voices calling out just beyond the trees. Suddenly something brushed past my arm. I jumped and spun around quickly, but all I saw were shadows dancing between the branches. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it might burst out of my chest. I wanted to run back to the street, but at the same time I was frozen, too scared and too curious to move. The whispering turned into soft voices, almost like a song, drifting through the trees. It was beautiful but also eerie, making the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. I covered my ears, but the voices seemed to come from every direction, wrapping around me like a cold wind. Up ahead, I spotted a faint flickering light shining through the trees. It looked like an old lantern, but it moved strangely and cast long, twisting shadows on the ground. Even though my mind screamed to turn around, I felt drawn toward the light like a magnet. When I reached the clearing, I saw a huge ancient tree standing in the middle. Its bark was rough and twisted, and right in the trunk there was a tiny door carved into the wood. The door was slightly open, as if someone had left in a hurry, and a cold breeze seeped out from inside. I wanted to run away, but my legs wouldn't listen. I pushed the door open and stepped inside. The air smelled musty and old, like a forgotten attic. A shiver ran down my spine as I realized I was standing in a small room carved inside the tree, lit only by flickering candles. On a wooden table in the middle of the room, there was a thick book covered in strange symbols that glowed faintly in the dim light. I couldn't read the writing, but the book felt alive, almost like it was watching me. My hands trembled as I reached out and opened it carefully. The pages were filled with drawings of creatures I'd never seen before, animals with glowing eyes, twisted limbs, and faces that looked like they belonged in nightmares. There were also maps of the forest, showing hidden paths and secret places that made the forest seem even more mysterious and scary. Suddenly, the door slammed shut behind me with a loud bang. The candles flickered wildly and then went out, plunging me into complete darkness. I heard heavy footsteps coming closer, slow and heavy, echoing inside the tree. My breath caught in my throat as a cold presence filled the room. I grabbed the glowing book and frantically searched for a way out, but the walls seemed to close in around me. The whispering voices I heard earlier turned into angry growls, and shadows twisted and danced along the walls like monsters coming to life. Just when I thought I would be trapped forever, the door suddenly burst open, and bright moonlight spilled into the room. I didn't hesitate. I ran out of the tree and through the forest as fast as my legs could carry me. The whispering voices faded away, but I could still feel cold eyes watching me from the darkness. When I finally stepped back onto the street, everything was calm and quiet again, like nothing had happened. The whispering had stopped, but sometimes when the wind blows just right, I swear I hear it again, calling my name from the forest. I never go near that path anymore, but sometimes I wonder what secrets still hide inside the whispering forest, waiting for someone brave or foolish enough to find them.